Welcome back, everybody, to your favorite 420 podcast. We are finally back, ladies and gents, with another episode here. It's finally good to be back behind the mic again. We back here in the home studio, but today we got a special guest here in Canna Vibe for you guys. We got motherfucking CG Art here in the studio here with us. So thank you so much, Clarissa, for coming by and vibing out here with us today. Um,
Thank you for having me. I appreciate you.
Yes, it's actually been a while since we've been trying to get something going on, but we finally got
Yes.
it, and it's
Yes.
today.
I finally got vacation at work. I put in so many hours, it's crazy. I'm a cook on a college campus and I
Okay.
run multiple units. So I run a Starbucks, I run a Qdoba, I run a burger and a bar, a grill. So I'm all over the place. So yeah, I took 2 weeks off. Woo-hoo.
That's what's up. That's what's up. As
Yes.
you should, and
Thank
and
you.
you took your time on the summer on the summer time, So that's
Yes.
what's
My
up.
son turned 16 yesterday, so I thought perfect week. And then next
Mhm.
week we'll go on a small little vacation as a family.
That's what's up. That's what's up. Well,
Yeah,
hopefully your son had a great day at his birthday.
he
And
did.
as well, you too. Hopefully you did enjoy it with your kid. I know these kids are a blessing in the disguise. We always get annoyed by them, but we love them to death for sure. That's most
A
definitely.
100%. Yeah, 16 years of putting up with 16 years. We'll just say that much right now. We're good.
That's
I
what's
was
up.
not an easy kid to put up with, so I'm just, you know how your mom always says your kids are going to be 10 times worse than you? No, mine are good. So I'm good. I can't complain.
That's what's up. That's what's up. Well, anyways, Clarissa, just tell us a little bit about you though before we even get deep into today's podcast.
So my name's Carissa, obviously. I'm from DeKalb, Illinois area. I grew up out here, but left to Cali for 6, 7 year span of time where my son was born. And then I moved back home. Art has always been a huge part of my background. I've been an artist, probably practicing artist since I was at least 10, if not a little bit younger than that, where I'm drawing daily, painting daily, doing something artistic or creative in that manner. Um, so art's always kind of been my jam. I went to California when I was 19 to pursue my education in art and also pursue my sobriety. So I had a blast learning how to get better through art and expression. So it was cool.
And
Other than that, I'm a mom and a wife, and I work. I'm a cook. So
that's what's up.
lots of
That's what's up.
facets.
So how was California for you then?
California was awesome because I was there at a good time. I was there in the early 2000s, so like beautiful time. It wasn't crazy expensive yet. I lived in the Sacramento Valley area, so in Bay Area, so really not too crazy of housing prices. Nothing was like it is now. Really good weed. So you had 4 hour drive north, and I was in the Emerald Triangle. So, I mean, a really cool place to be, a cool place to get my shit together. Lots of nature and things to just escape your mind and your mental.
So when you moved out there, was the California scene legal or was it still like underground for that
Medically,
time?
it was legal.
Okay.
Medically, since like the mid 90s, I want to say. And there were dispensaries and things like that for medical people only. Um, you never really had to source out there. There was so much competition. I mean, I would go to a park and have 15 people approach me with 15 different things, so there was always like the easy accessibility of it. And it was definitely not looked at like it was looked at in Illinois. I felt a lot freer to openly consume in California if I was in like a park or, taking a stroll around a lake or a river or something like that versus Illinois at the time where I would have been arrested. So that part was cool, but it still was completely recreationally illegal.
Yeah, gotcha. See, so like I know you said that it wasn't like how you said you didn't have to find or make a whole
Mm,
mission to find some bud. But like,
nope.
how easy was it? Although if you were you a medical are you a medical patient? But first of all,
I'm a medical patient in the state of Illinois. I was never a medical patient in California.
okay.
Um, there was a lot of really weird hoops at the time to jump through, and just being super busy and life as it was, I was totally fine with finding medicine other ways. So, yeah, I had a few farmers and people that I knew specifically out there that were wonderful. So you could always contact them, or if you were ever
Hmm.
really in a pinch, I mean, just go up the street.
Gotcha. Damn, is that easy,
Corner
huh?
store, anywhere. Yes, absolutely.
Wow, that's
Yeah, it was cool. Being from Illinois, you were kind of freaked out at first,
Uh,
and I was sketched out by everybody. I was just like, don't even with me. You better stay over there. But I came to realize quickly that it was like not a big deal, not a big deal at all. So it was cool.
gotcha. So then, like, when did you start even consuming cannabis then?
I started consuming when I was 12.
Okay.
I've been smoking daily, except through my pregnancies,
Hmm.
uh, since that point in time. So I've been consuming for 28 years. Um,
How did you like your 12-year-old self came across cannabis?
I hung out with a lot of older kids. So, like, most of my friends had like 15 and 16-year-old brothers and sisters.
Hmm.
So, it was so accessible and easy at that point in time as a young kid because nobody cared and it was swag, anyways. It was all seedy and stemmy. I'm old head. So, I've lived through all the different generations of pot. Like there was swag and like brick and nasty weed. Then there was the 30s that started coming around. Then you started getting like beasters or like low grade dank, if you would. And then when the party scene picked up for me when I was a little bit older in Chicago, obviously it was already around well before me, but like
Hmm.
I started noticing and knowing what dank, like solid, like what real nug was when I was probably about 14. So I would say like 1998,
Oh shit.
right
So
around there. Yeah.
so then like tell us a little bit more of like these different type of stages, like I guess from like the different type of like the sizes and the way that the nug used to look like. How
So
was it
swag,
then? Yeah.
swag was garbage, garbage. It was compressed. It was like literal brick weed. Like someone broke you off like a big old chunk of it. It would look like nothing, and it would weigh a ton because it was filled with like seeds and stems and nasty ass stuff. And so, yeah, that was not fun. So
Hmm.
if people are from the shoebox era, you know what I mean, to shake that shit in a shoebox, make the seeds go to one side and make your shit go to the other.
Oh hell no.
Um, a dime bag was like $5. Like you could get like two blunts for like $5, maybe even cheaper.
Damn.
Um, yeah. And then 30 started coming around, and that was like everybody was like, whoa, what is this? It was like green buds with red hairs. You would maybe get a little bit of seeds here and there, but it smelled like fucking pine trees. And so it was so much different than the swag was.
And what do you think it was? That like you think it's just the people that were like growing it or like, or just
Yeah, I
how.
think that growing became like a passion for people. Like, people started to see what they were doing on the West Coast. And we were so far behind in the Midwest that,
Hmm.
like, people started thinking, okay, well, there are other ways. I want to say most of like the 30s slash beasters, which was like really good 30s or like low grade dank, that started coming down from Canada, and we started getting that in Chicago because like Michigan's not far. I mean, there's a lot
Yeah.
of connective pieces and all that fun stuff, but like we started seeing that, and I was like, what the hell? This is awesome. Like you would only smoke two bowls and get high. You didn't have to smoke two blunts to get high. It was more expensive, but it tasted good. It smelled different. So, but that shit was $30 an eighth when I would buy an eighth back in the day of swag for $15. And
Damn.
so,
That's like
yeah,
that throws me back to like the 2 for 15s.
Oh yeah, dude, I'm old school as hell. I promise.
Yeah, like I remember when it was either get you a sawbuck or get you that 2 for 15, and you
Yes.
were a little balling, and you felt like you were a little balling for the week. You feel
Yeah.
me? Like yeah, I
Everybody's got
remember.
5 on it.
Yeah. I remember back in high school. After school, we would be like, at least put five. Like what's up? What's the word?
Yes. Absolutely. Everybody
Um.
would gather up together, get what they could.
So it went like from like crappy weed like like an actual like it would be like kind of like this like they'll just give you like a big chunk of like what like a
Yeah,
com
literally.
like
Like if you took like if you imagine a a piece of like snow, like a brick of snow, and just grabbed a chunk off of the edge. Like literally, it was like all textured and weird. It was like so compacted together that if I like threw it on the ground or anything, it wouldn't break apart. Like if I
really
yeah, if I threw
so
fucking
how
nugs on the ground, they'd bust. They'd be
so
everywhere.
so how would you guys then like roll up or like
We would have to sit there and like pick it apart with our hands really good, get it all cleaned up, take all the seeds, all the stems out. And then usually it tasted so bad that there was nothing but a blunt you wanted to smoke it in because at least the blunt was flavored.
yeah
You'd get like a grape Philly or like this is before backwoods and all that
Mhm.
shit. This is like I'm old, okay? Like
Yeah.
back in the day. So you would grab one of those and roll up like that, just so you had some flavor to it, but it tasted nasty. And I mean, to smoke 2 blunts with like 3 heads and still barely have a buzz, like when we started seeing 30s around my small town, we were like thinking, oh my God, this is so cool. And then I started going to parties out in Chicago
Hmm.
and they had grams of dank at raves for like $20, like a gram, $25 even a gram. And I would bring that home and like show it to people, and people would be just like flabbergasted, like, what is that? And
And
we were
that's
so young at the time,
mhm.
we didn't talk to the college kids in our town. So I'm sure there was some sort of like other source, but we were so young. We were like 14 to 16 years old. And we only fucked with the people that we trusted. And so
Mhm.
yeah, it was one of those situations. But as soon as it started coming around, everybody jumped on the train as soon as they could. They were like, I don't care if it costs more money, it tastes better, it gets you high. It was
Yeah.
like, and it was cool. We had High Times magazines back in the day and like all those different like resources. There wasn't really like there was the internet, but like we didn't use the internet. Like you weren't allowed to. That shit you paid per minute to go on there. So like
Damn.
yeah, we didn't have any of that. So like High Times and stuff, you saw those magazines and then you would see the weed in real life and you just thought like, holy shit, this is so cool. This is
Yeah,
like the
I bet.
greatest.
Hell yeah! Like if you're just kind of scrolling down on the gram, you just see like a picture of a like a stem with the nugs there. You're like, damn, like, fire.
Yeah.
But so then like I guess that brick week passed, and then like you mentioned the 30s, which was Canadian cannabis that came to the
Hmm.
States, which is pretty cool. I wonder how that came from like Canada all the way to here. But
I know,
a-
right?
after that scenery, it was like what? Like Reggie just came along or
Reggie was around forever. So Swag and Reggie, same
uh,
thing basically.
oh, okay. It's
Um,
just bogus ass
and
weed.
yeah, and it's bunk. It's literally it's just shit weed. It's bogus weed. It didn't taste good. It was like your grandpappy's weed, if you would, kind of thing. So like as soon as those things started kind of passing through and everybody started to that I knew, like the people that I hung out with, we all started, oh man, like check this dank out. I'm from like the train wreck days, super silver haze, white widow, white rhino,
Hmm.
um, thunderfuck, like those old school strands, even before sour diesels and shit, like before that. So
You talking about
crazy
like
shit.
that gassy strains then right there, right?
Hmm.
That's what we're talking
Well,
about
and
right there.
there was fruit too, but there was like only a couple specifics. Like I feel like anytime you got a blueberry strand, blueberry train wreck, blueberry just whatever, or
Hmm.
a bubblegum strand. Bubblegum and blueberry were the two that were going to have more of those fruity notes, if you will, but nothing like nowadays. It's not like the, like runts or any of the stuff that's super, super sweet. It
Hmm.
wasn't like that. It was
Like,
really clean. I can't even, there's nothing touches that shit nowadays. I'm not even going to lie. And I don't
the,
know if it's because the way it was grown,
hmm
The
Probably.
lighting is different so much now, and
Yeah, right. Speaking about like other strands, like cakes, like all them cakes right there.
oh yeah, cakes came around like what I want to say for me like late 2000s, like 2006, 7, 8, like maybe around there. I
Hmm.
think is when I started finding more of those. Purples were so popular in California when I lived out there. Everything was perp this, perp that, perp this, and kush all day long. So those were probably the two more popular, I would say, when I was in Cali. Prior to Cali, before I moved out that way, and I moved out there in '04, it was even older school shit. So the stuff
Got
that people literally paid fucking $400 and $500 an ounce for, it was ridiculous.
shit. But I mean, think about it though. I mean, like if you were just came across a good strand back then, like with no type of accessories, like
Yeah.
accessibility to purchase cannabis or have cannabis like we do now, like I'm sure it's worth that four or $500 for the ounce.
Oh yeah, because people used to flip it, and even when you'd flip a $400 ounce in grams, you're still banking 180 bucks off of it, or you got free smoke. So it was like back in the day when we were really little kids, and all we could ever afford was a gram. Anyways, that's all anyone ever sold because like we were broke ass little kids. So and bud now is way more affordable, like insanely affordable. When I can go if I'm not smoking on what I'm growing, if I go to, a friend or an event or any of those things, you can get a zip for like 125, 150.
Hmm.
That's fucking crazy to me. Like, because I come from the pre legal era where shit was crazy. It was expensive. I remember one time going to New York, and I think this one kid was popping off ounces for like $750, and I'm like, what the hell?
Damn.
Yeah, and all those kids were buying it up because they had money out there, so they didn't care. So shit like that's wild.
Must be nice to be a rich kid.
Mm, for real. I used to sell weed so I could smoke it for free.
But yeah, that's wild. So then like I guess like being in two different sceneries in Illinois and in Cali, like what is like the difference, like the major difference that you notice?
So as far as out there, there's way more of a laid back personality on people. People are a lot more accepting of your God, how would I put it? Like just being uniquely yourself. Like you can be yourself. There's so many things in diversity and like inclusion, and there's so many cool things within California that I really appreciated versus out here where like if back in the day I would walk into somewhere and have tattoos all over, people would like look at you, or just I'd walk in with a weed shirt on in Illinois and people would be like, you know what your shirt says? I'm like, clearly I put it on this morning. But in
Oh
California,
shit,
I didn't have
Sherlock.
right. I didn't have those judgments, which was really cool.
Mhm.
And coming from an artist background, California was just like so much more like current and of the time and accepting of so many different types of art and things. Like I'm a ceramic artist as well. So doing pottery and things like that out there, I could make a livable wage being a potter. You could actually sell art at a livable wage and be able to feed your family, pay your bills, all that stuff. Out here, as soon as I came out here, everybody's like, "Oh, that's cool. Do you want to sell it for $5?" I'm like, "No." Um, and
Is,
my
is,
time,
is, is
the
that
price of the equipment, the supplies. I mean, there's so many things that go into making art that people
uh
don't realize. And so out here in the Midwest, it's more considered like a craft. It's
interesting?
different. It's not a fine art, it's a craft. There's like
So
two different worlds out here.
so so like but even right now like in Cali, like can you still be like doing art and still be living like a livable wage and stuff like how you're mentioning or
Probably not now.
not? Oh, okay, okay.
No, it is so expensive. Like where I lived right before I moved out, for example, we had a 3 bedroom apartment and we split with my husband, myself, and another person. $1,500 rent, right?
Damn.
It's $500 a person, not terrible.
Hmm.
You could survive it, whatever. That same apartment right now, because I still have friends that live out there, it's $2,900 a month for an
Wow.
apartment. My mortgage in my house out here is not even $2,900 a month. Hell no. So like I don't think that nowadays it's doable unless you have legacy money. If you're
Hmm.
rich, if you're a rich kid, sure, absolutely get out there, go live your best life, do whatever you want to do. But like 1,000 square foot house in Granada Hills is over $1 million now.
And
So
are we talking like, is this like a good area or like a
so
so-so? Wow,
like
okay.
not good, not bad. Like
Hmm.
you would be fine walking around during the daytime. California has a lot of mental illness, so nighttime in most areas that I've been in California are it's not. You got to be prepared. You
Hmm.
need to watch your back. You need to be street smart. It's a whole different world out there compared to out here. I feel like out here there's a lot more compassion, which is surprising. You would think that it would be completely different, but I think out there you're taught to mind your business
Hmm.
and move on. Out here, if I saw somebody fall on the street, I would stop them and help them. And I would do the same thing in California, but I was told in California, don't be fucking stupid and get caught up doing that. And I'm like,
Damn.
oh, okay. So, like,
Yeah.
I do think that there are differences, for sure. It's just it's the Wild West. When everybody says like, oh, the West is different, bro. The West is different. You got to have a different level of like leathery skin for that shit. It's tough. It's sad. You see so many homeless people. You see
Yeah.
so much despair. You go through towns like that you would think look like third world countries in some areas out there, and it's just nobody takes care of anything. And then there's areas 2 miles from it that have $5 million mansions, and the roads are paved with like pictures on the bricks and shit. It's so why it's weird.
That's a little fucked up if you really think about it, right? Like how you
It
kind of
is.
just
It's really
mentioned.
fucked up. Hmm. I
And
think it's like 60% of some of the houses in San Francisco right now are vacant because nobody can afford the taxes anymore. And so all these families are living in front of their homes, their dreams, everything in their campers and shit because they can't, survive out there. It's a lot. It's
and
too
like
much.
and like I guess like with everything that's been going on and like and throughout these times, like why do you think the the higher like the people don't do anything about it?
I think that their governor is trying to step in wherever he can. I appreciate his efforts in stepping on top of the government right now, stepping on top, and use flexing is nuts. State over federal all day long, and we have that ability to protect everybody that lives within our state. I do think that he does step up when he needs to, but I think that there's just how do you take care of a problem that's so far gone? That shit should have been helped so long ago, so long ago. And just I don't know. It's sad. Our world is in such a fucked up situation right now. I've basically started to not live inside my own bubble. I'm very aware of
Hmm.
what's going on in the world, but I've had to give myself some grace as well, because I'm an empath and like I just suck all this shit up all around me, because I feel like my brain wants to explode sometimes with everything that's going on. So I'm just trying to keep everybody around me aware,
Hmm.
informed. I live in a community that is very diverse. We've had people like ICE in our community recently. I'll be the first person to shut you in my door and lock it and tell them fuck off. So I just there's so my energy. It bothers me the way the world is, and I think that being out in California would be 10 times crazier
Yeah, with
than
everything that just kind of just
with
happened.
everything that's going on right now.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty wild. Um,
You want to just go run and help. You want to be part of the solution. You want to, fix things. And to be able to do that, you have to sacrifice so many of the things that you do as a human. So that's a really big tug and pull for me. That would be hard.
yeah, right. Because I feel like I think everybody's trying to, you know, be insane and kind of get our shit together. But like when we see a lot of other shit around the world, like be like, damn, like how can I guess I understand you, like how can I
Mhm.
help? Because like in this whole situation is like how can we really? Because we're here in the Midwest and they're like more than like what 1,000 miles away from us, you know, like how what can we
Mhm.
do? But just kind of see what's been going on. But like as well, I understand too, like the higher ups could have also done something a long time ago, but my question is like why well it's something I'm sure we both won't know the answer to, but it's like why, you know, like
Everything is
what's going
always
on with these resources, you know, like all these taxes that we get charged with, you know, as a citizen, you know, with property taxes, the taxes that you get taken off from your job, like where I know where's all this money going to? And sure that they do let the state does let us know at some cases like where our money's going to, but like reality is like homeless, right? It's a actual global thing, you know, like
oh
that
yeah, big
I
time.
feel and so such and as well as like mental health too. So I feel like we should really focus more on those type of resources, but you know, we've been always kind of just giving money to like war and shit like that to you know
And paying
like
for golf trips and dumb shit that should never happen. Absolutely.
yeah.
Politics to me is like the biggest divider in the world. It's created to keep division. I'm
Mhm.
not a political person. I don't vote. I'm being very honest and transparent with you. Um, it's just never been in my nature to side with somebody else's idea because I think that a lot of times what happens is we're fed shit that never happens or we're told a bunch of stories and that's all they are stories. So I feel like what I can do for my community, how I can help the people around me, keeping people informed, keeping people aware. I think if you would categorize me in any form or fashion, it would literally be a humanitarian. I'm a person and I love people. I don't think that people and families and whether you're rich, poor, anything, it should be torn apart. I don't think that you should have to prove yourselves to anybody. I don't think that your voices should be left unheard. You know, the thing with politics is, and we're all like, oh yeah, you know, we all stand up and we all vote, we all say this, that, and the other. Like, what about electoral colleges? What about like all the like lobbyists and all the shit that is like in between the middle? Like, you pay this guy so this law stays good, so your company can fuck over 5 million people a year out of insurance, you know, and just things like it's like it's all a big fucking game to me. Everything is a big fucking game to me, and that's why
Mm.
I just choose to keep my kids happy, keep myself happy. Help the people around me with whatever they need help with, a hot meal, advice, a
Mhm.
shoulder, a lending hand. Like I believe in being like an old school person. So it's rough for me. This whole world is weird. I try to just stay right here, but I know what's going on.
Yeah, I get you. I get you. It sometimes it's best to just always be tunnel vision on your own thing because there's a lot of distractions going on, most definitely,
I think that's a big part
and
of
we
why
see
I
it.
make the art. It's
Yeah.
just my distraction. It is. It's a big part of creating.
But yeah, so it's like again, like just kind of it's best to try to sometimes just be tunnel vision and like again like there's a lot of distractions but like we just see it like right in our eyes like we like I see it, you know, like
Yeah.
let's like, for example like the fucking that whole fucking Coldplay concert shit, like that's a whole fucking distraction right there,
Yeah.
like who, okay, like sure, I guess whatever, like you caught somebody, you know, having a yo, que onda toda la plebada. To all my Chicago people and around the Chicagoland area, Midwest Terps and 420 Baby are bringing you guys the Mario Kart Tournament Part 4. That's crazy to see how this classic game has turned into a classic event with your favorite 420 vendors. If you guys want tickets for this event, please, my guy, please make sure to go to our Instagram page, click on the link in the bio to secure your spot. Get ready to blaze, race, and see who will be the next Superman champ in our Windy City for part 4. Are you new to the event? Don't know what to expect at the tournament? You want to be ready for these crazy ass races? We got you guys covered with a recap of part 1 through part 3 on our YouTube page, just so you guys can see what you guys been missing out on. Hope to see you guys there, and now let's get back to the show, ladies and gents. Fair, whatever, and turns out to
Right.
be the CEO, of what is it, astronomer, I think, AI
Yeah, I
astronomer
think
or something.
so. Hmm.
Yeah, okay, like I guess whatever, but again, like I think everyone's just focused on that we like little do we know what's going on behind the scenes of everything right now, like.
It started a long time ago. I'm one of those weird theorist people slightly. I swear to God, I really am. And I feel like whenever we started involving and introducing reality TV into our world was like the first bait and switch, if you
Mhm,
want, from the government. They wanted to see how obsessed we became with wanting to know about everybody else's lives. And we are as a country, community, whatever you want to call us, we are obsessed with everybody else's fucking business. Obsessed with it. We need to know about this, that, the other. You go to a grocery store, everybody's business is posted up on 16 magazines for sale. Like things like that. So I do think that they utilize public figures and things like that as distractions. Absolutely.
when did
Absolutely.
reality TV shows started?
I want to say like in the like early to mid 90s. I remember for sure seeing like the real world and stuff like that. And it was so cool at first. It
Hmm.
was like really interesting because you really were looking at like the real lives of people and it was technically reality TV. Then when they realized that not everybody wanted to expose their lives to bullshit, they started making reality TV. And so it was like, set up, staged, whatever, if you will, more than it really was a real documentary style sense of television.
Hmm.
So I do believe that that was a big part of like seeing how quick we can be sheeple, how quick we can fall into line, how quick we obsess over something like somebody cheating on someone that's a CEO. That sucks. It sucks for his family. It sucks
Hmm.
for him. It sucks for the lady because she looks like a hoe and everything else. But I'm being honest. But you know what? Like, why not expose all the other people in the world that do that
like
shit to
like
their
like the
significant other?
like the Jeffrey Epstein files. Like finally,
Oh, yeah.
let finally expose that. Apparently there's nothing to it, but expose
And if
that.
there's nothing to it, then let that shit be public,
I mean,
And
yeah, uh-huh.
I mean,
But
honestly, like if we're gonna sit here and be like, "Oh no, it was nothing," just let it be. Then put that shit out there and let everybody know about it because I do believe that there is fucked up shit in this world that
yeah,
happens.
most definitely, hell yeah,
And if you
and
have money, you can keep anybody quiet because we're all obsessed with money. All of
we
us are at some level in our lives.
they just kind of said. I think I was reading something, an article. I think it was saying that the FBI is saying that I think our president is actually on the list apparently, but who knows? He does but he looks like he could be in the list. Though I ain't gonna lie, but who knows, right?
He
But
probably is. I guarantee it.
but see, because we're gonna get so deep in this right now, but
I
like
know, right?
let's because and I'm already pretty stoned on this wake and bake sesh right here. But anyways, but like honestly, like, do you think like all the rumors of those people that are on that list, you think they're really there? Like they really did something there? Not just like the
I
politics, like the politician people, but like the entertainment, like the
like famous
actors.
people and stuff.
Right,
Do I
right,
think?
right.
I mean, honestly, I don't put shit past people. And I've worked in corporate America, and I will say this much: I've worked with people that make six-figure salaries, and I mean high six-figure salaries. And some of them are really chill, normal ass people, and some of them are very egotistical and weird. So I don't know if people were ever to be like that, you know, because they have money, they feel like they're untouchable or whatever the situation may be. But that shit's disgusting. And if they did do anything, something should happen.
Like, but like I don't know. Like, okay, let's say like you get invited, right, to go into this island right there that no one is like able to go without this invitation, right? And like you get to this island and you just start seeing a lot of people. You just see like just scientists, politicians, actors, athletes, musicians, like, and everything's this whole vibe, like.
They wouldn't want to catch me there because if I saw some crazy shit with some kids, I'd expose the fuck out of everyone in 5 seconds. So that would be me personally. I can't speak for other people. I
Uh-huh.
don't know if people are, I think what it would be for those people is just probably the terror in all of it. Like, thinking about how easy it is if you could cover that up, how easy it would be to cover up killing somebody. You know what I'm saying? And so if
Hmm.
I was to expose those people, how would I, not know that in the next week, all of a sudden, here I go. So I don't know. Like I get why people may
Well,
have
would this be like considered blackmailing to them?
um I think that people if you took it upon yourself to do something in that regard so disgusting, I think you should be publicly exposed. Um, Blackmail, I don't know, like if they were worried about being blackmailed or like,
Uh,
but that's the thing, like who would have blackmailed them? Like in my mind, I'm thinking like, because all of them were there. So,
yeah, but like, well, but what if, like, for example, like, because I was hearing this in another pod, and it's like, what if, like, let's put an example of like an actor, right? Let's
right.
fuck it. Let's say Tom Hanks, right? Because he's
Yes.
apparently in the
So
fucking
he's
list.
on there. Yep.
But let's say
Your
Tom
Tom.
fucking Hanks is just a cool dude. He's hanging out with these guys. He's already pretty drunk or whatever. And like, what if like they don't know? Like it's a younger, like a girl, but that looks older. You feel me?
Right.
And then
I
like, what
think
if like these girls like can't say much too? You feel me? Because I'm sure like you don't think like they by that time they would
I'm
know
sure
what's
those
going.
girls were drugged. I would assume that, and for any girl coming from a woman's perspective, like regardless, to have to be exposed in such a manner that like you're basically a prostitute or whatever may be the situation, like you probably have to be under the influence of something. Otherwise, you have a lot of self issues. You are not, confident or loving yourself or whatever may be the case, because I would be damned, especially even being a young woman, like because they're saying some of those girls are 15 and 16 years old and stuff like that. Like I would hope for them, um that they would think higher of themselves than that, but situations are what they are. The world is fucked up. And like I have a daughter, she's 13.
Hmm.
I tell her all the time, like you protect you. Like if anything ever fucking weird happens, the first thing you do is you say something and you call people out and you talk shit and you get wild. Like you start japping out, screaming, doing whatever you need to do. Like I teach my kid that, and I teach her also to be loud when she sees other people in those situations. So like coming from me,
Hmm.
that would be hard because I wouldn't react in the way that they did. And, do I feel bad for those people that were caught in a circumstance that was out of their control? Yes. But I also think that we're all responsible for ourselves, and accountability is fucking everything. And
Hmm.
I hold myself accountable to everything I do, whether it's shitty or not. And yeah, if you were there, you need to step up and say, hey, I think if I was there and I was one of those people in that situation, wouldn't you step up right away and say, dude, I was there, but I had no idea that kind of shit was going on. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah, so
I
like
would
what about like those
I would
type of.
expose myself and be like, no, 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 no. So I don't know. The whole situation is fucked up.
It is, and I think you still can't even like access that island still to this day right
No,
now.
I don't think so. I think it's like watched heavily too. Like they fly
And it and
over.
And another thing that's very interesting, just because it's kind of like ties, not really ties to it, but still it does. But honestly, it's with the whole Diddy situation. Um,
Yeah.
honestly, I talked about this on a previous pod, but like, I'm just recap on this real quick. But it's like, it's just showing that he was just a freak at this point. Like, I don't think what is their charges for though? You know, in his case, I would see the only charges is where he beat up what Cassie, right? That's her name.
I think so. Yeah.
Casey,
The
Cassie, whatever
Cassie
her
or
name.
Casey.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I think that's the only charge I see for actual. But like besides like the all the baby oil and like, the I guess the freak offs, like it's just exposing
Right.
Diddy that he's just a actual freak. Like he just likes to see other guys clap his girl or vice versa or whatever.
Right.
So
Whatever he did, ooh, same thing. Like that's what I'm saying. You can't. I wasn't there. I can't say, oh
mhm,
yes, this was good or that was bad or whatever may be the situation. I think that you take us, and it sucks, but you do. You take a sense of responsibility being a person in the limelight. You need to understand that jumping into that position in your life and working that career or being that person, like you are going to be exposed. So like you either own it or you don't own it kind of
mhm.
thing. I do think though that like there's a lot more behind all of the Diddy stuff. Like, like my focus for him more or less would yes be towards the fact that like he was funky and weird with young girls and did whatever he did and
Mhm.
guys and everything else, but like more or less like what about all the people like that were quote unquote killed under his you know time and like just all those theories of like people being like losing their lives and just different shit like that. Like I think there's
Or like the
more.
attempt on the Kid Cudi where he blew
Yeah,
up his
or just
car or whatever.
yeah, that or just like the Biggie, the Tupac stuff. Like there's so many other things that I feel like this was just like an opening door for.
What about the whole voter dive? Remember
Voter dive.
when he was promoting to vote? I think this was during Obama's election. I think this was his first election or his second term. I forgot.
Term. I
And
can't remember which term it was, but I think I do remember what you're talking about.
I was talking about this too, and there were the other guest was saying that it could also be possibly because of that too, that they were just trying to like get him in some type of way, and I guess they got him with that freak shit, the freaky
With all
shit,
that, like a kind of a payback for bullshit kind of thing.
something like that. Yeah, but as well, another thing to it is that the judge, I think, is like the same judge that was trialing Epstein at that moment before he died, but they're saying that Diddy's just gonna walk out. Like he ain't gonna do no time or anything. He's just gonna.
I feel
Well,
like most of the people that have a lot of money in this world do. It's fucked up. There's so many famous people that have like gotten away with people, death from people. Like, I mean, for example, Matt Broderick, didn't he kill some lady or something like that, like in a car accident? He never went to jail for a damn day in his life for that shit. Like, there's so many famous people that get away with everything. And then you got people that are in my town doing 10 years for a fucking pound of weed. It's like, makes sense. Makes a lot of sense.
yeah,
I
another
don't know.
another wasteful space in a
I
prison or jail
swear.
time. What? Yeah, I mean, again, I don't think our plant here should be the reason why we should all go do some jail time or prison time.
No, not at
Um,
all.
but speaking about our plant, what what are you smoking on today?
Some Chicago cake,
Okay.
grown by a very close friend farmer. It's a cross of wedding cake and grande guava.
Oh,
Very,
okay.
very yummy. It's very terpy. It's delicious.
Hmm.
And then I have another piece of some, what is this? Josh's OG 91 OG. Something I picked up from one of the events from another friend that farms and really cool, good gas, soury kind of funk to it. It's old school tasting. I have a lot of appreciation for it. It's really compacted. It's really dense. It's cured perfectly. So yeah, no, just chilling on a couple bowls of random stuff. I've been up since 4:30 though, so this is probably like round 7 or 8 by now.
Damn, that's what's up.
That's how I roll. I gotta get my shit together for the day.
I guess I feel you on that. I feel you on that. Right now, I ran out of everything. To be honest, I ran out of
Oh
dabs.
no.
I ran out of flour from our sponsors, and so all I got is just the Benjamin right here. But luckily, I got what's called Bubba Kush by Midden Extract. So I
Nice.
actually, if you haven't, if you go ever go to Michigan, I would recommend their brand. I've actually tried a couple of things and they're actually pretty decent. I ain't gonna lie.
Are
Um,
they?
yeah, they really are. I mean, to be honest, like I feel like they're really more known for their cards, because that's
Okay.
the first time I actually found out about them and actually talked to like their rep and stuff like that. That's kind of what they were just focusing on. But like now they kind of have like infused pre-rolls, some what does it they have? I believe they have some like um edibles, but disposables and cards are like their main thing. And like honestly, like as a card guy person, like I'm not really a card person, but like they used to be like my go-to as a high schooler, because they ain't fucking
Right.
smell, in the house, and I love smoking in my house, like I love smoking in
Yeah,
the crib.
same.
Um, but like not ever since like I started to learn more and stuff like that. I just kind of stepped away from cards, but they're like my last resource now. So
Yeah.
yeah.
I smoke flower. I'm a flower smoker.
Mhm.
I'll do a dab every now and then, like at an event or something like that. But I don't even have a dab rig at my house. I literally smoke bongs. I like joints.
Mhm.
I smoke glass bowls all day. I mean, like that's just kind. I'm old school. I'm literally that's how I roll. Bic lighter in my little bowl. So
That's what's up. Hell yeah.
nothing too fancy over here.
So what has been like one strain out of this year that stood out to you the most?
Um, ooh. So for sure, the Chicago cake that I'm talking about,
Okay.
it's like Chef's Kiss. Um, I don't think I've smoked anything this year that I like more than that yet,
Hmm.
but there's a few that come right in underneath there. There's this double triple skunk that New York. It was it New York Diesel or New. He was at the last. He was the dude from New York that was at the last Salts and Organics event. He threw a cut to Midwest Terps, and they, flowered it out, and I got some of that, and oh my god, it's been on my brain ever since. So that I would say is probably second runner up for sure this out of this year because I have been thinking about it and I haven't been able to get another. I think I got a quarter of it or something like real small. Like there was only like an ounce or so available and I just grabbed what I could. And
Hmm.
Lord, I wish I would have grabbed more because it still stuck in my brain, like I said. So I think those two are probably my two favorite this year. I'm excited though because I am growing some AJ sour right now. So
Okay. Tell us a little bit
I
about that one.
I'm excited to see if I can actually pull the sours out. Sours are an old school thing, 2008, 2009, all the way
Hmm.
maybe to like 12, 15, somewhere in there. I don't know. But I haven't had a good old school like sour in a long time. So I'm excited to see how it turns out. I'm on I think today is 53 for flour. So not too far off. We're getting in the home stretch there. And then I'm
Nice.
also growing some Mesa berry right now from Colorado,
Okay.
which I have never had except for a tiny little sample of the actual flower.
Hmm.
I was gifted some seeds, and luckily, when they popped, I got a bunch of girls. So
Nice.
yeah,
That's
so that
amazing.
is what we're doing right now. I just got done growing some dung drop. That turned out really good.
Okay.
Yeah,
Awesome.
yeah. I'm just kind of putzing around right now. I have not really done indoor grow.
Hmm.
I've always been an outdoor grower. We lived in California for so many years that's just what we did. Um,
Nice. Do
so yeah,
you do you still
getting used to
like
it.
plant your seeds like in a pot, or do you plant them like on the ground?
No, I when I grow inside or outside.
Outside.
Outside we potted still. We
Oh, okay,
potted
okay,
above
okay.
ground. Yeah. Just so I could make sure that like you can check, pests, bugs, anything like
Mm-hmm.
you gotta always make sure your soil's good and everything like that. So it's an easy way for those things not to get in as quickly
For
than not.
sure.
But like I mean growing outside, I had plants that were like 7 and 8 feet tall.
Oh my God, look. So I'll show you something real quick, and I just sent it to you. I'll show it on the pod right now too. But anyways, so I'm growing. This is my
Oh,
second season
awesome.
growing, and so this plant right here, um, appeared out of nowhere. To be honest, like I was cleaning the backyard with my mom, and my mom kind of like noticed the plant, and it wasn't even. It was like a tiny little plant by there, and she's like, "Look,
Right.
what is that?" And I'm like, "Oh my God! Like how did it get there?" And we're so like amazed because like there's nothing but like rocks there. So, like there's minimum of dirt. And we're so amazed of like how it's growing and how it got there. But I actually had to trim it because it passed our fence and we have neighbors. So
Yeah.
we ain't trying to get too caught up or anything. So yeah, I decided to trim it recently, but it's been growing. But I have another two where yeah they're like in a pot. But yeah, it's just amazing. Like I just love kind of growing. Like I'm still a learning grower,
Yeah,
and
definitely.
um I just love being in that environment. Especially
And
like
just watching it
right.
develop and like see all the different dude, it's so cool. It really is. I agree 100%. I grow a
Yeah.
lot of other things outside of
Hmm.
bud too. Like I grow my own veggies, my own fruit
Nice.
and
Hmm.
herbs and flowers and all that
Hmm.
stuff. I grew up on a farm. So,
Gotcha.
I mean, and my parents are hippies. So we grew most of our food most of our lives. So like, yeah,
That's what's up.
that's
That's
kind of
what's
my
up.
jam. I love that stuff.
But yeah, no, and it like if you really think about it, just how we are today, like it's just nice to just get your hands dirty. You feel me? Like just touch
Hmm.
fucking nature, like
Yes.
and just kind of like look at other living things,
Expose
'cause
yourself to something natural. Absolutely. That's a big part of like, so like my art context is like, this trippy, weird, colorful, like, acidy, weird stoner art. The whole point behind my art is to distract people from the distractions. So I think that like, because I have kids, right? And
hmm
like I watch my kids all the time and I watch all these other kids around and like everybody's on their phone all the time. Everybody's just like this, like staring, right? Um, I want my art to be what breaks that attraction. I want to be the distraction. So like I want to take you back to a sense of yourself and like in a genuine and a natural form and not like something that's computerized or technology but like something that you can like touch with your hands and your heart and your eyes and like it's tangible, it's something that's not just like on a screen, and it's in front of you. And I think that that's a big part of why I create and I try to smash so much color and texture and idea
hmm
into paintings and make them as weird as I possibly can because it keeps you distracted for that much more time.
for that moment, hell yeah, in that moment,
Mhm.
I think we all cherish that moment.
I hope so. It's genuinely why I paint. It's because I want us to all be able to like stay in tune with who we are as people. I think we get so lost in the sauce. It's like, everybody wants to be, somebody that wears these big chains, or I want a big fancy car. I want this and that because that's what we see everybody. Everyone wants a perfect body, or, they want to be so intelligent or travel the 15 million places in the world. That is cool and awesome. And I'm so excited for the people that do get to really experience that in their lives, like genuinely excited for them. But there's a lot of people that, feel shitty about themselves because they don't get to do those things or they feel like they're not good enough because they're not accomplishing the things that they see,
Mm.
on social media or like in our environment. So I feel like it's that connective piece.
And I think social media is really our own worst enemy because like that's what we really compare ourselves to a lot all the time, or we just we see what you're saying. Someone got a brand new car, someone's actually in a fucking nice ass car, somebody's in the
Right.
fucking Bahamas in a beach somewhere. And that's cool and all, but like sometimes like those people aren't happy,
Yeah.
you know?
Yep, exactly. So I think that there's just like a false
Yeah,
sense to our reality right now. We all live in like this I don't know, it's kind of made up, it's kind of trippy, it's kind of like a movie. I did a lot of acid and shit as a young teenager, and like this shit's just like that. It feels like disassociated. It
hmm
feels fucking weird. Um, that's why I continue to be myself, and I don't swing with the norm. I don't really care to. Uh, Whatever I feel like doing is what I'm gonna do. As long as I'm not hurting anybody or hurting myself, I don't feel like that should affect anybody.
Yeah,
Um,
hell yeah. We all
so,
gotta do what we all doing. If it
and
makes
I
us
think
fucking
that,
happy.
and if we all allowed people to be that way and embraced without judgment and all this other shit, I mean, like things would be different. But right now, everything is so like, I don't know. The world's in a big competition to be better than the next, then the next, then the next. But like we have to realize that there's always going to be something better. So if you can't just like justifiably be happy with like who you genuinely are and what you can bring to the table, and you do give your 100% effort in life and everything like that, I do feel like that's kind of, you know, where I would go with it. But I don't know. It's weird. So I choose to just live in my own little happy bubble. Like I said, kind of I'm content there slightly.
You don't feel like we've always been in a competition with each other though?
I think yes and no. I think that there was a point in time where we were not allowed or given the option to really know one another. And I'm talking about like way back in the day. And that's what like begot people being like segregated and things like that. And then I think that like over time we became slightly better people. And then all of a sudden now it became like it's regressed. I do think that like when I grew up in the 90s, for example, like, yeah, there was shitty shit happening in the world. Like, there's always going to be shitty shit happening in the world. But I think
hmm
that there was such a neighborly feel to things. Like, now, like, I live in a neighborhood. I don't fucking talk to any of my neighbors. Like, it's just things are, we've regressed from being happy people. I don't know. It's weird.
Illinois, are you guys ready? We are back with another banger. The Exotic Nerds brings you Exotic Chronicle Awards, sponsored by Midwest Terps, Luxor Exotics, Wop Shop, Chicago Legacies, Slappin' Munchies, Sleepwalkin', Riley's Resources, Living Soil, Cushion Coffee Podcast, and yours truly, Canna Vibe. Hosted by Moonrock Matt and I Smell Smoke. Special guest judges, which is anonymous, so that means you can't tell nobody. Shh. Music by DJ Mill Ticket. Photography by Manny Two Time. Come and show we got a green carpet for pictures and interviews. Sponsored by yours truly, Canna Vibe and Cushion Coffee. We got 3 brackets you can enter to get a chance at a $3,000 cash prizes and take home the torch. Yes, you heard it right. $3,000 in cash prizes. Whoa, 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 whoa. So you're telling me that somebody can win 3K off this event? Like, for real, for real? For real, my guy. 3K. So, you better get your shit going. Tickets are now on sale, and guess what, ladies and gents? They are free. Let me repeat that again. They are free. So if you want to check out different tiers of these tickets, please go to our Instagram, click on the link in our bio, because they got some crazy deals going on with these tickets. Again, you do not want to miss out. Draft night is coming soon, and this event will be taking place in Harvey, Illinois from 5 p.m. to 11 p.m. So please come out, show some love,
leave the bullshit behind. Let's get high, guys.
No, yeah. So you were just saying that how I guess now we're just like I guess moving backwards. Is that?
I think slightly, and just like some things we are. Some things like right now, like deal like with what our country's doing and our government's doing to each other, and you know, take ripping families apart and stuff. Like, what are we doing? Why are we going in this direction? Like, there was a good point in time where we all started to kind of come together, and then like all of a sudden it just stopped.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It makes me sad because I don't have hatred for people. Like, it's just not, I've never been raised like that. Like, I never have had that in my history of my family. Like, I know there's a lot of families that have had racism and things like in their upbringings. Like, I was never like, holy shit. So like hearing somebody say the N word, I'm like, I turn around and I'm like, you better watch your fucking mouth. Like, you'll see me instantly. Like, I don't tolerate shit like that. So like, the world we live in right now is just like so fucking fucked up. Like, I don't know. It's just we're becoming hateful again.
Yeah, I feel like there's not a lot of like positivity right now in the world.
There's not, and it's fucking it sucks. And I think about my kids, and I just teach them to like,
Hmm.
not listen to what people tell you, but follow your heart. If you know something's not right, regardless if 50
Hmm.
people are telling you you should do something, like fuck them. That's really hard to instill in your kids. And
Oh yeah, as a
make
kid, hell yeah.
oh my god, because
As
they're so influenced by everything. And so just I really try to make sure that they understand that they're strong and that their voice is really important, and closed mouths don't get fed. So speak up, and
yeah.
be diligent in your actions. Don't allow people to treat people like shit. Like, I'm literally going back to like the roots of like, treat people how you want to be treated and be kind to people.
Because that I think that's just the way it is. I mean, that's just simple as that. I mean, we don't have to like if we don't like each other, then just avoid, that's it. Just avoid each other. Like you don't have to
Yeah,
like
don't
just
be a piece
talk
of
shit,
shit.
right?
Exactly.
Like what good are you what are you gaining off that? I feel like you're just wasting
Right.
your energy. You're wasting your fucking time on just talking shit when the dude
Mm-hmm.
that you're not fucking with is just chilling on his own, doing his
Right.
thing.
Yeah. So that's kind of what I mean by going backwards. It's just I feel like everybody's just being so shitty and hateful, and so I'm just trying not to be, man. That's why I like to do bright, colorful art and smoke good weed and talk to cool people and involve myself in my community. I do a lot on my college campus as involvement. I
Mm-hmm.
help with community gardens. I do all kinds of cool shit. So just trying to keep people thinking good thoughts.
So one question I actually been wanting to ask since you make art, is like, is there like any artist that you kind of like inspired you, or or kind of like try to
Yeah,
do
for
their
sure.
type of art? Like, is there any like who?
I love so many artists, but I feel like you've got like your obviouses, I would say for sure, like Salvador Dali, all of the really like tripped out, funky stuff that he did, being totally like, the melting clocks and like the different things that he had done along his that. And then you have got Andy Warhol, of course, which is like the pop art, the really cool, funky movements, colors, and all that stuff. So I pull inspiration from so many different people. I love Peter Max. Peter Max is an artist in the 70s that did a lot of really cool, like colorful, funky paintings. I love graffiti art, dude. Love graffiti. Graffiti is beautiful. The colors, the structure, lettering. I mean, so I take inspiration from so many different artists. Keith Haring is awesome. I love Keith Haring. Banksy obviously is a really cool artist because of just the idea of placing art in places where people didn't think it belonged. Uh, so there's a lot of really cool artists out there. I really appreciate, like, if you go onto a college campus, because I've worked on a lot of them, and you talk with the artists that are getting their feet in there like wet.
Hmm.
They got so much passion, dude. It's insane. and you can just like feel it when you talk to them, like what their art jive is or what their, the context of their art or what their art meaning is. Like that it's neat to put yourself in that situation.
And
I
and
like
like
talking.
and like as a passionate artist, like do you see something like do you see art very different than like someone who kind of just does art for a hobby or just you know, or is
Yes
it, I
and
guess
no.
that passionate or
I feel like if I go a couple days without doing art, I feel weird. Um, I have creativity that I feel like needs to like flow normally, um, like anyone else. So, like going on vacation, for example, with my family next week, will I bring my paints? Yeah. Totally. Absolutely. So yeah, things like that. I I love art in so many forms. I love cooking, I love photography, I love music. So I think that art encompasses so many different things. So I have a passion for multiple types of art, I would say.
gotcha. So like and then like for all these like artists that you were mentioning, like even like the ones like you said from the 70s, like you think they were like under the influence of like,
Some of them for
like
sure, yeah.
psychedelics or even like, weed.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, there's been like, history, like, because I have my master's in fine art. So, like, I have art history background. I know about all that stuff. So, you definitely do dive into, like, the 60s and 70s counterculture art. Most of the people that were doing the art were experimenting for sure. They maybe weren't like users completely, but like
Mhm.
definitely trying things or around people trying things and experimenting that in that manner. But yeah,
What
definitely, I would say yes.
what is like one painting that you know that kind of like stands out to you from like back then, like since we're talking about this right now.
So there's a painting by Peter Max. I cannot think of the exact title of it, but it's a really cool painting of a man who has like wings and he's flying into like this crazy night sky. And it's very unlike what you would normally see now. It's like very color blocky and bright. It's bold blues and greens and purples. It's got like a cool palette to it. Um,
Hmm.
it's a really, really beautiful piece. And I've got to see it in person. And when I saw it in person, it was 10 times prettier than I ever saw it in a book. So I thought, like, that's something that stuck with me forever. Otherwise, like all the graffiti art on the walls in San Francisco, when I was down by like Haight Ashbury all the time,
Was it
holy mac and cheese.
is it like one of these right here?
So Peter Max with the man flying. So Peter Max does like this guy right here. Let me
Which
see.
one? This one right here?
This style of his art here, but like the winged flyer and the sunrise, these are like the style of paintings that I speak about. I
Oh,
don't see, oh, here he is, right here, the winged flyer. This is one of my favorite paintings.
this one right here that we're showing?
It
Oh,
is on the second row
oh,
down. It's the second one in with
uh,
like the star. It's like so funky and comic booky. And if you look at that art and then you think about my art, you kind of
mhm.
can see a little inspiration, a little vibe, definitely. So like
Gosh.
Peter Max was a really, really cool artist of his time, I think, for sure. He was very expressive, I feel
Hmm.
like. So that is one of my favorite, the wing flyer in space.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I love that painting. I think that there's a lot of really cool like colors and like at his time coming in, it was coming off of a time where like everything was way more like muted and palette. Art at the time right before he started producing art was very like pastelly and impressionistic and like light in color. He was really bold with like fat lines and like cool stuff. And that's kind of my style of art too. I like bold colors and big fat lines and textures and stuff like that.
Yeah, hell yeah. I love your art, honestly. You make
Thanks.
amazing art. Like every
I
time I'm on the
appreciate it.
feed and I see the your art, it's very bright and hell yeah, like it just catches my attention. I've been looking at it, for a good minute because I know sometimes the last time that you talked to me about it, you told me that there's always like more detail in like if I look more into your paintings, like
Hmm.
so now like even on the screen, like I kind of zoom in to see if there's any like patterns that you made and stuff like that because again, like it's just a lot of detail that you put in. Like I bet it's like it should be seen. Like it has.
Yeah. Layers in art for me are expression. I feel like layers are like you putting in like your like the levels you feel of like emotion while you're making the paintings and things like that. Like a lot of the times I don't have like an emotion of like, oh, I'm sad making this or anything like that. I'm like happy to make it or like excited or like in a mode of experimenting. So like, I'm anxious or like kind of like, ooh, how's this going to turn out? Like that's more my emotional intelligence when it comes to my art. I don't make art in the sense that like, some people make it because, of feeling sad or feeling this way or that way. I'm like excited. I'm jazzed up to do it.
That's
So
what's up.
that's,
Hell yeah.
yeah, that's the
It,
emotion I put into it.
and is there like any of um like a life story of an artist that you like that I don't know like that stood out that for like throughout his lifetime or her lifetime?
I mean, Keith Haring was a really cool artist. He was an artist that was from like the 80s into the early 90s. He does like very, like, if you see any of his artwork, everybody knows what it is right away. He does like the big, bold line, um, kind of like biomorphical characters. He was a gay man in that time in New York City, and he exposed his sexuality, which was not accepted really. So he made a lot of art about awareness in the gay community.
Hmm.
He made a lot of art about AIDS awareness, about homosexuality, about happiness, about love, about death. He touched on so many cool topics and topics that affect all of us in different multitudes and facets in our lives, regardless of our sexuality. And I think that's what he was trying to show is that, like, does just because I'm gay doesn't mean my feelings are different than your feelings and vice versa. Like so I think that is a really cool artist to learn about and know about if you get an opportunity. I tell everybody definitely. I'm reading this awesome book right now called
Hmm.
The Human History on Drugs, and it's by Sam Kelly. And I tell everybody definitely check that book out because it is literally the real life story of people's like successful people in our history from all the way to like the Egyptians, all the way to current people. So it's neat. It's a cool synopsis of time, but about what drugs they did and how it influenced their success. Really cool book. Cool book.
And what have you learned from this book?
That fucking what's his name? Steve Jobs took acid and thinks that's why he made Apple.
Oh,
Okay,
really?
like, oh yeah, there was like this whole big story. There's a lot of cool stuff, and they're direct quotes from these people, and so it's a book. It's neat though. So far, I'm about
Okay,
halfway
okay.
through. So once I get all the way done, if you want to borrow it, I'll let you borrow it.
But like
It's a good book though so far.
what else? What's another good another I
They
guess
were
person?
talking about like Egyptians and like marijuana, like like how Egyptian culture was like kind of this, like, if you were richer, it was like this slow paced cool day where like you got up in the morning and you like ingested cannabis and you relaxed, so, like, wake and bake and like
Mm-hmm.
chill out, and then like basically like laze through your day and relax. And it was just about like how cannabis kept them like in this state of mind where they could just kind of like be easy and free all day and
Mm.
stuff. So like even back to Egyptian times they start when this book comes in. So it's cool. It's a neat
Interesting. Hell yeah.
over time. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm excited to read the rest of it.
Speaking about drugs and stuff, so so like I said earlier before we got started on the podcast, I was looking for this video, and I think it's a good segue
Oh
to get
no.
to watch this video.
Okay.
So yeah, so hold on, because
All right.
I wanted to hear more about this because I heard that this dude was having an interview with somebody with like a news channel. But give me a second. Hold on, I'm trying to share sound. All right. So you gotta hear this guy out. You gotta hear this guy out.
The only difference between crack cocaine and cocaine is sodium bicarbonate and water and heat. Literally,
That's it?
That's it.
And those things are pretty much free if you go to like a science store.
This is free. You can go to your neighborhood convenience store
To the
and
dollar
just get.
store, yeah.
Anyway, I don't want to tell people how to make crack cocaine, but it literally is a mayonnaise jar, cocaine, and baking soda.
How different is the experience?
It's vastly different. And like for real, I feel really reluctant to kind of have some euphoric discussion. I know you're not asking me to do that, but have some euphoric discussion about crack cocaine.
I think this might be kind of the opposite here.
Okay, no, it's the exact opposite. I'm saying I don't want to have the experience of some euphoric recall. That's how powerful crack cocaine is. Does crack cocaine make you act any differently? No. Is it safer than alcohol? Probably. People think of crack as being dirty. It's the exact opposite. When you make crack, what you're doing is you're burning off all the impurities so that it combines with the sodium bicarbonate, which makes it smokable. That's all. You know, all of these actors and, people in the past that talked about they had a problem with cocaine and freebasing. They were smoking crack.
So straw on the stove is the same thing.
Not exactly, but close to it. But it's a little bit different. But anyway, my point about it, your point about it, which I think is true, is that there's a thing about crack that is really insidious. And what it is that anytime, I think one of the reasons that they believe that smoking cigarettes is so addictive is because it combines three really important things. It's habit forming, there's an oral fixation, and there is a ritual combined with it. And so the idea of hand to mouth is a habit and a fixation that we learn very early, even as children. With a pacifier, with a spoon, with your thumb, even to breastfeeding. Okay, so I don't want to get into the psychology of it because I'm no expert, but I do know this, is that you combine with that ignition, combustion, and then you combine the ritual. You have your cigarette in the morning, you have a cigarette when you get out of the car, you have your cigarette with your coffee. Crack is that on steroids. It's over and over. There's ritual to it. There's a ritualized part of it. The combination of all of those addictive behaviors together becomes like really powerful. And the drug in and of itself is a more immediate euphoric sensation and connected to it than, in my experience, cocaine alone.
What do you think on all that?
I mean, if I will say this much, I've been a crazy kid and I've done lots of crazy shit, and he is very accurate.
Really?
Let's say that much. Very much so. You literally could take baking soda and water and cocaine and make crack with it. That's all it is. I knew a lot of people that did that growing up. Coke was a big thing in my young years. It was huge in the town I lived in. We are from a college town, so like it was everywhere. It was very prevalent. Nobody cared back then. And I mean, I think, obviously, is it smart to do nowadays and things? No, I don't think that I would be like, okay, obviously with my kids doing all the dumb shit that I did as a kid. Absolutely not, especially with like fentanyl and everything else that is out and about nowadays. But he's very right about the hand, like the mouth oral fixation thing, because my mother-in-law, for example, is trying to stop smoking cigarettes, and she smokes cigarettes, she smokes bud, and she vapes. She's trying to stop doing everything except for bud. So she bought these weird little rubber sticks, and you just blow air through them, but I shit you not, every time she wants a cigarette or something, she uses that, and she's good. So I do believe in the oral fixation part for sure. And I do believe in rituals for sure, because I think that's why I think that's why I like flour over like a dab, because like a dab is like a dab, it's one dab or maybe two dabs, and then you gotta like chill out. Why are you gonna take 10 in a row? That's stupid. You're just wasting your fucking product at that point in time. You know what I'm saying? So but like
Yeah.
smoking a bowl takes a little time. You can talk while you do it, you can hang out. So I get it. I get it. I that's
Guilty
comparing the
as
two.
charged though by me taking
Okay.
like
Yeah.
7 dabs in a day.
Hey, I'm not mad at you. But all at one time, no.
No, you're right. You're right. You're right. No, yeah, I
You
could
know,
take
like
like,
here,
uh-huh.
like two at a time or three at a
Yeah,
time, and
yeah,
then you
yeah.
chill. Yeah. So like I feel like, I'll pack a couple of bowls and like you can sit there for 25 minutes and shoot the shit and smoke a couple bowls. And so yeah,
Mhm.
the ritual thing I believe in too, because I like that ritual over, like I said, like just doing a dab. So I get where he's
But
coming from.
what about the where he just mentioned like with all these people who have crack issues like
Oh yeah.
they're smoking crack, so then like what so then of course like we all know that even you can get very addicted with cocaine, but like
Oh yeah.
what they I know he just I know
Crack
he
too though. I
explained
mean,
I know
yeah,
he
I think
explained the
both of them
difference,
are
but like
very addictive.
yeah, yeah,
I
yeah,
think
but
they're
like
both really addictive. I think one is definitely more of a quick fix versus the other, but both of them have you vibing out after like all like I need more. Like, I'm good. I did all that when I was young. That's
like
why I moved to
a
California.
tweakster, no? Like you'll be just tweaking,
Dude,
right? Like
when
all
I lived in California, like it's meth central out there, and like there's a lot of people in the community that you would not think that do it, that do it, and they come in and you can tell they're just like twacked, like they're gone, the jaws jacking all over the place, and it's just like, whoo, you better go home and
do
smoke a bowl and calm down.
do you have you known anyone that has told you like how it feels?
Oh, I've done it. I'm not gonna lie. I'm very transparent about my past. I moved to California to get sober. I followed myself out there to get my education and like get my shit together. But like the biggest part of that was becoming sober. I did drugs at a really young age, and like I said, smoking weed by the time I was 12, like every day. I mean, I definitely had my fair share of stupid choices. But I don't regret anything I did. I learned from it. I got better. Addiction is a big part of my family background. So getting my shit together was like the ultimate, like, it has to be done. And so that's why I moved as far away from Illinois as I possibly could, and California was it. Literally as far as I could go. So, yeah, it is fun to do when you're in the mode of not giving a fuck about yourself. It's scary though when you start to realize that you do things on a daily basis
Hmm.
that, you know, control your life in a weird way. Not in a way where you're like, I was never a person that like stole from people or did any fucked up shit like that, but I definitely like would wake up on a mission. Like, bye with all that. Now I wake up in the morning and think about my life and what I want to accomplish in my day and feeling
Hmm.
good and being positive and my kids and my family and things like that. When I was young, back in those days, shit, I got up and I was like, how am I going to get high? Who's going to answer the phone? Like,
Hmm.
how am I going to get to where I need to be? I think when things have that kind of power over you, they're not good. Like, and I don't feel like that about pot. Like, if I needed to stop smoking weed, I could stop. It would suck, but it would be no problem.
Hmm.
I wouldn't feel like the way I did when I first stopped doing drugs. This feeling of like just this itchy, this needing to like run and see what's going on, and just one more time kind of mentality. That shit's fucking scary and it's weird, and I fear for that having kids. Um, I don't want them to ever have to go through that.
Hmm.
But I'm very aware of the world we live in, and so I'm very on top of my shit when it comes to my kids. Um,
But it's like if I don't know if you want to say this, but like how can you like describe it when I like I'm not sure if you could like
so
remember from like the first time to like I guess
I wouldn't be able to say like the last time for sure because of like the last times are always the times where you're just like, okay, like questioning why you were even being fucking stupid anymore and doing those things. But the first times doing them were the shit. It was awesome. Like you really do feel like you're on top of the world. Everything is like crystal clear. Your vision is crystal clear. Like when you're real stoned and your eyes are kind of closed and you're just kind of
Mm-hmm.
like, it's not like that. It's like fucking everything's in 8K or some shit. It's like all like boom,
Is it
and
more like awareness or?
it's awareness. It's vibrancy and color. It's vibrancy and energy. It's like and depending on who you're with, you got people that are chatterboxes, so they'll be like da, 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 going off, like
Like just
talking about
talking.
all kinds of shit. Who even knows?
Hmm.
But then there's that feeling that's like 20 minutes later, you're like, again, again, again. That's fuck that. That's I think the thing that eventually made me realize like you're dumb. You're dumb. Why are you doing this? Like, why
Hmm.
are you? Things should be chasing you in life. You shouldn't be chasing things, unless they're positive, like your dreams or money, get in your bag, whatever, but not drugs.
Hmm.
I mean, like that's dumb. Like, I get like people that can control themselves, and I will totally say this: people that can control themselves, if you could do that on a weekend and it is like solely recreational to you and whatever, like that's your business. It's not mine. I don't care what you do. I hope you never get anything bad.
Hmm.
That's the scary part. Um, but I'm never going to step in and say, you shouldn't be doing this. I recovered. I did this and that. That's not my place. I did what I did for me and only for me and nobody else. I had to get my shit together. Otherwise, I would probably be like everybody else, like half the other people in my life. So that's not what I wanted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that's scary. Um, I've actually seen cocaine in person, and that
Mm-hmm.
kind of actually freaked me out. Cause like the most that I'll do is just psychedelics. Cause
Yeah.
like I'm just an open person. Like I like and
Yeah.
cause like just because I'm just and I love doing this. So like this is like like I can just say it's more to like what I experienced and stuff. But um like I've done tab like I've done acid before too.
Yeah.
But like kind of like that scene in person, like I was just like, whoa. Like I thought you only see this like in TV shows or movies, but
Yeah. It's
yeah,
a little
it's
crazy.
it's out there though for sure, most definitely. But yeah, no, fuck that. But yeah,
Yeah,
no, it's
going to
just
raves. I went to raves as a teenager. Like,
uh
there's every drug there. Like, I mean, everything. There was people snorting ketamine. There were people doing heroin. There was people doing rolls at first, like ecstasy at first, and then MDMA became like more popular, like Molly bombs, where it was more like a pure thing. But like, I mean, going to parties. I had a kit that I tested my ecstasy, and I could literally tell you like how much heroin was in it and how much other stuff was in it. Like you just scrape the pill and put this little dropper on it and it would turn colors and there's like a little chart. You could tell what you were taking. Like I was a
really.
safe. Yeah. I learned a lot from the older people that I was around. I shouldn't have probably been around them,
Uh-huh.
but I learned a lot from them. So yeah, like I think
And
everything back then was a lot more pure, a lot more chill. Now everything's fucking cut and it's all
yeah,
cut with chemicals that are bought off of fucking the internet and shipped to your house. Like that shit's crazy to me. Like I can't even.
like
I can't.
so I got two things to say. So one, what would you learn from like the color and like that chart? Like what color meant what?
So if it was more on a orangey side, the pill was more cocaine filled. Back in the day, ecstasy was like a press pretty much of cocaine and heroin. So like and like little bits of MDMA obviously in there, but like to press the pill and make it last longer or whatever, you'd scrape it, and then if I scraped it and it turned like a purpley blue color, it was more of a smacky pill, so it had more heroin in it. So you knew how your night was going to go. You knew you were going to be like upbeat, dancing, like grooving, doing your thing, or if you were just going to be like wavy gravy. You still had like, a good time, but if your pill was more smack, you definitely were way more like chilled out. and you had to worry about like your water intake and things like that. That was like being more smart. Like I liked getting fucked up, and so I did it responsibly because I saw people around me like fall off so fast that I wanted to be smarter than that,
Mm-hmm.
but still have a good time. I don't know. I was in a weird spot back then.
No, hell yeah. I'm sure. Hell yeah. Just kind of looking back in history and throughout, like, just the culture, I bet it was different
Mhm.
than how it is now.
Dude, parties back in the day like were so underground. Like you would get a flyer and you would call a phone number on it. And then when you call that phone number, they say, go to this place. You would go to this place and there'd be a guy there and he'd say, hey, this is the address. Like it was so underground. And like you didn't pay money to get in a rave. I remember bringing canned goods. Canned goods. They would be like, if you guys bring canned goods in, you get in for free. And they would
Oh,
like
wow.
bring all the canned goods to like homeless shelters or just whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But that was like how the Chicago party scene was when I started going in like the late 90s. And then like as into like the mid 2000s, like early 2000s, I kind of dropped off the face of the earth and stopped doing all that because like it just really started getting like sketchy. Like people started robbing people and getting more fucked up than they were, and it wasn't about like having fun anymore and enjoying your time and music and dancing, but it was like about the drugs. And like, I get that, but like I was trying to go just to like, you
Have
know,
fun.
yeah, take some mushrooms and dance.
Oh, yeah. There's nothing wrong
Not-
with taking some shrooms
no,
and just.
like that's what I was trying to go do, not like go crazy like these other folks. I'm like, So yeah, it just changed. So I kind of changed my scene. I started going to more festivals. I still went to a lot of festivals even during my rave days, but like jam bands and stuff like that.
That's
It was
what's up.
fun.
Hell
Yeah,
yeah.
there's nothing to do in this boring ass little town, so you had to go outside.
So overall, how has been like your journey, you know, being in the cannabis industry and stuff like that?
Good. I mean, I started creating art again a couple years ago and like met with some folks that were doing like, just like the events, like the cannabis events and stuff like that. And I was like, hey, would you be willing to have an artist? And I kind of showed my art off and stuff like that. And I had a few people that were willing to give me an opportunity. At the time, I was just trying to figure my finances out and find a way to make a side hustle. My son got diagnosed with a neurological disease, and so we were going to have a lot of appointments and MRIs and surgeries, and bills were going to come. And so I had to think of a way to make sure that that burden stayed my burden and no one else's burden. I didn't want my house, nothing to happen to my kids where they live, nothing like that. So I really pushed myself, and the cannabis industry embraced me so well. And I'm so grateful, like for the first group of people that allowed me to sell and meet all of these other people that I know now. And like, it's kind of like this community. It came together at one point in time, like, and it was huge. And now people have branched off and started doing their own things, which I totally understand. People are allowed to be people and take
Mm-hmm.
opportunities and do great things. But I have so much appreciation for each one of them because they allowed me to set up and sell art at their things. They allowed me to, hit these payments every month for all these surgeries and shit, and not only like it's the therapy for me, it's getting to paint, to get things off my mind,
Mm-hmm.
um, getting to go to a public place that's full of adults that are like-minded with me, that, appreciate my art, that I can conversate with, that, I can be myself with. Everybody at work, obviously you work with people and you're yourself to a certain extent, but you have to be professional as well. I can
Right.
totally be transparent in myself at these things, which is so good for me too. So it benefits me in so many ways. So the cannabis community is like my whole heart. My whole heart. I owe them a lot. And that's why I continue to, help where I can and volunteer where I can or create where I can or, show up, support, that kind of stuff.
Most definitely. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
That's what's up. But I think last few questions before we wrap it up is I know you say you have a mission for yourself and
Yes.
what is your mission for yourself?
So a couple things. My first and foremost mission is my child. My son has Chiari's, which is a neurological disease where his brain hangs out of the bottom of his skull and interrupts the spinal cord fluid in his spine. Due to that being part of his condition, he developed neurological scoliosis. We knew nothing about this at birth, obviously. We went to a basketball um, physical and they were like, "Hey, did you ever notice this small bump on his back?" And I was like, "Yeah, we just started noticing it." And they wanted us to get it looked at, and within not even a year it curved like 60 more degrees to the point where it was going to start affecting his heart and his lungs. um, so we had to have immediate brain surgery to push the brain back up into the skull to create space for the fluid to flow properly in the spinal cord. um, and then about 8 months after that surgery, we went in for a full spinal fusion surgery. So my son has a two rods up his full spine and 23 pins. Um, that helps him, have a healthy heart. It helps him be able to breathe properly. There's a lot of things that, like, you're not able to do later in life, like motorcycle riding, skydiving, roller coasters, like that kind of stuff is really scary because your spine is no longer multiple pieces that move like a snake. It's one big piece. And if it snaps, that's can be detrimental as far as either, you're going to be paralyzed or you're going to die. So like there's a lot of like little things that we're getting used to. Hopefully these surgeries keep it to where his diagnosis doesn't affect him later in life. A lot of people with Chiari's don't even find out until their 30s and 40s because all of a sudden they will become unable to walk. They become paralyzed.
Mhm.
So we're crossing our fingers and fighting the best fight and doing what we can. But after all was said and done, his surgeries were immense money. And insurance, obviously kicked in where they could, but we're still responsible for 10% of his bills. So like, it's a lot. I mean, I could buy a small house for what I owe. So all this art and selling this art makes all that possible. So like that's why I say owe everything to this community because I can survive right now and not lose my house or my head
Mm.
where my kids live and everything else because of medical bills. Like, I mean, shit in America is so intensely expensive.
Hell
But
yeah.
I'm grateful. I'm totally grateful. But yeah, so that's my mission, and just to distract, like I talked about earlier, like it's
Mm.
really important for me to have the distraction for myself and then also create a positive distraction for other people so they can still relic in beauty and like see things in life that aren't always so negative. So I don't know, kind of crazy stuff.
It is. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. But no, most definitely. No, I think that just I think it wraps it up. But honestly, I feel like you should just continue on working on your art because you do amazing art pieces. And keep growing
Thank
because I
you.
feel like everyone who grows, our favorite plant is just it's very therapeutic, like we mentioned, and we should all just help one another just grow, man, in this world.
Yeah.
Because like you said, it's really fucked up that's going on. Um, we covered a lot of topics. We went through a lot of rabbit holes, and I appreciate you
Hmm.
on vibing and coming here on the podcast. Um, but yeah, Clarissa. Again, ladies and gents, this is CG Art here with Canna Vibe, and so links of her pro on her Instagram and everything, all that good stuff will be linked in the description, uh, in our video. Make sure to follow her on the gram, And yeah, she's always gonna be in every cannabis event as possible in anywhere, literally. You're
You'll see
like
me
all
all
over the
over.
place. Yeah, you're all over the place.
I try to be. I try to be. I got to make shit happen, and making shit happen doesn't happen while you sleep. So
Most
you
definitely,
know,
most
sleeping
definitely.
happens when you're dead.
But overall,
Well, I appreciate you for having me on here and allowing me to speak my mind and just vibing and hanging out. So thank you.
oh hell yeah, this was an awesome wake and bake sesh right here, ladies and gents. We are still continuing smoking. We'll continue to smoke. But if not, yeah, we'll see you guys in the next episode or vlog. And have a good one. Stay safe out there, you guys.
Bye.